Hey, welcome to the second episode of the Superpower Radio Show. You're here with your host, Brenda Major,
Mia Dawson.
and we want to say that we are so glad that you've joined us again, and we're excited again to provide a safe and supportive community for people impacted by autism. Our disclaimer, as always, is we are not trained clinicians or diagnosticians. We don't have a cure for autism. We have no degrees in autism nor the spectrum. And the information you will hear on this show is designed to offer strategies, comfort, support, faith, and humor for caregivers to help them manage the symptoms influenced by this disorder. So, our topic today is all about Halloween.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
And you know what? And that can be kind of traumatizing for anybody. But
Yes,
uh
yes.
Mia, talk about how Halloween was, some of your Halloween memories growing up.
Well, we did. I'm born and raised, and I was born and raised in Decatur, Illinois. Um, which is what, about 3 hours south of Chicago. For all you listeners all around, it's about 3 hours south of Chicago. Um, So ours was, we did some trick or treating. I remember us going through the neighborhoods. But
Mhm.
what happened was, Brenda, in the early '80s,
Mhm.
and this guy ended up being a serial killer.
Oh my
Two
gosh.
little two
What?
little girls, two little girls got murdered on Halloween night in the projects of Decatur,
Hmm.
and that sort of canceled out Halloween for like all the parents. So my age at that time, I think mom said I was 4 or 5, maybe 6. But at that time, it was almost like Decatur just kind of shut down. All the parents were like, "Oh, no more trick or treating. We're done."
Wow.
And the guy ended up murdered two little girls it was Longview projects in Decatur. And he ended up later on, end up finding out he ended up being a serial killer. But that sort of soured Halloween.
I
And
guess.
my mom put a shutdown, like, we're not celebrating anymore. So my
Mm.
next memories of it, I remember going to a church, and they did like bobbing for apples. I remember that.
Mhm.
I remember at school we can dress up, and I went to a Catholic school, and
Mhm.
we went to each classroom, and we had our costumes, and then whoever got the best costume, they won, and we got candy.
Okay.
But after those little girls then my mom was done. Like, we just didn't celebrate it. She was over it. So
Wow.
it it ended very quickly for us. And
Wow.
I don't remember celebrating it like no more. Like, I never
So no
we
more
just
trick or treating.
no more trick or treating. She did let us participate in whatever the school activity was,
Mhm.
but then after that, she didn't take us nowhere. We It was like she completely shut down.
Wow. Wow.
What was your experience like?
Well, I grew up in Chicago, and I
Okay.
had five older sisters and two younger brothers.
Okay.
And so we did
Woo!
trick or
That
treat.
was a lot of kids
That's a
trick or
lot of
treat.
folks. And people made our costumes. My sister made some, and I remember this clown costume that my older sisters wore, and they handed it down, and I just couldn't wait for the time when I got to wear the clown costume.
Oh, wow.
I was like 5 or 6 when I finally got to wear the clown costume. But trick or treating was very much a family thing. Like, you had to go
Okay.
with your older sisters, and I had also
Okay.
two younger brothers. Um,
Okay.
and I think when I was about 10 or 11, I really
Mhm.
kind of had a heart for people, and they were doing this trick or treat for UNICEF. Uh,
Oh, wow.
so,
Okay.
to help kids all over the world through raising money to help them. And so I did trick or treat for UNICEF, where and my mom let me have a UNICEF little carnival in the backyard one year at Halloween, and so that was cool. Um,
Oh,
but
wow.
then something always happens, right? So when we do
Oh,
trick or treating for UNICEF, you go earlier and you have your little box, and people put money in the box. And so you
okay.
can imagine one year somebody stole my box.
Oh,
I was
no.
heartbroken. I was like, oh, these poor little kids aren't going to get. I was so messed up that
Oh,
I
no.
just, that, so I stopped the trick or treating for UNICEF, and I kind of lost interest in trick-or-treating altogether by then.
Wow.
Yeah, so we still
Wow.
did stuff at our church,
Okay.
and we entertained trick-or-treaters, and my brothers, shoot, they're grown old men now. They probably still trick-or-treat for all I know. They definitely did not stop. They didn't care about, as much about the UNICEF thing. They're like, okay, no candy for me. So, but I mean, I do remember my dad he would make everybody dump all their candy out on the table. And that's a lot of candy with all those
That
buckets
is
of
a
candy.
whole lot of candy.
Girl, he would ration it out. We would be eating candy from Halloween all the way into Christmas because he wouldn't let you eat it like you want to eat it all night.
Right, 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 right.
Like, this is your portion. I was like, but that's my candy. Why are you giving him my candy? It was crazy. It was crazy. So so
Wow.
what is trick or treating like now in your area? You're in Springfield now.
So yeah, I'm in Springfield in the capital. Um,
Mhm.
they don't do as much of the neighborhood. Like I remember I've been here, oh Lord, I think I've been here 20 years. I remember when we first got here, it seemed like they were doing a lot of neighborhood stuff. But now
Mhm.
it's like everybody goes to a location. So it's been like the mall.
Okay.
Local restaurants put on a lot of things.
Hmm.
Maybe the kids' activities like gymnastics. My boys do piano. They're going to have a piano recital that's Halloween. So they've
Okay.
seemed to be more innovative in different organizations and businesses as opposed to everybody trick or treating like from house to house.
Okay.
So that's what I've seen a difference over the 20 years I've been here.
And I think it's kind of interesting. I live in Decatur where Mia grew up. Um,
Yeah.
and I live on the west end of town, so it's a mixed area.
Okay.
By that I mean there are young families, there are a lot of older people, there are people who have been established in their homes forever, and so every holiday, these people in this neighborhood go nuts.
Oh, wow.
Girl, there are a couple of houses, I kind of like walk around the other side because they got monsters that are like 12 feet tall. This
Oh,
one house has like the
wow.
scary clowns that glow in the dark, the vampire, something that
Oh,
I was running this morning and something flew by my head and I was like, okay, this is crazy. They
oh,
they are
wow.
crazy nutso Halloween. So there's like four or
Okay.
five houses that are out of control. I mean, it's
Oh,
fun,
you have a
but
completely they don't have nothing up on
man,
my street. You
and
have a
then and
completely
how
different
they
experience.
how they trick or treat is crazy because these kids are so spoiled. The parents will like the kids are in the car and they literally
Oh,
drive up to the house and they may hit two or three houses and then they get back in the car and then they drive. So it's this caravan of slow moving
oh,
traffic.
wow. Oh, wow.
It is really different.
What
I'm
happened to
like,
walking on the
they aren't
sidewalk?
walking, girl. They are chauffeured trick or treating.
Wow.
It
Wow.
is a whole new world. So
Okay.
you figure, okay, well, if you coming up in the car, I better have some really good candy. So, and I noticed this year, like three or four new families just moved into the area, so there's a lot more kids. I was like, okay, make a note, got to get more candy. I don't know what they now. Back in the day, if you didn't have candy and you had your lights out, uh,
That's what I do now. I do now.
girl,
I forgot a couple years. I was like, and Neil was like, "Turn! I know we can't turn the light on because I don't have anything."
but when that happened in my neighborhood growing up, you get egged or toilet paper.
Oh no!
Yes, they like raw eggs all over your house.
Oh
Um,
wow!
and then sometimes you would get the TP, the toilet paper, where they would wrap the toilet paper all around your house and all up in
Oh
your trees.
wow!
And I'm
Oh
thinking, man,
my!
that's a lot of work. And you know how much eggs cost now, and they can't
Yes!
be throwing eggs now.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
But
Yes! Yes!
yes, eggs. I remember because we'd
Oh
be
wow!
walking to school the next day and you could see the houses that got hit because they didn't have candy. They got yolk all sliding down the window.
Oh wow!
It was a
No, they have not done that to me. Please don't do that to me.
Now, I think now, well, see, now they so sophisticated in this neighborhood. Like you actually go onto the neighborhood um, little website. They have a little, almost like a Facebook
Oh.
community, and you get to tell them, okay, are you going to have candy at your house? And then
Oh,
you
okay.
put your house on their little map so they know to hit your house. So I'm like, okay.
Oh,
So I
okay.
guess if you
Okay.
don't, you can safely not have on the map, but you still got to turn your light out
Oh, wow.
if you don't
Oh,
want them
wow.
ringing your bell and ringing your bell and all of that going on. So now, do you take the kids trick or treating, or do you take them to any of those activities?
So, no.
Okay.
Because I kind of took over for my mom. There was like no desire because she kind of shut it down and it just did not go anywhere. But then once Neo um developed autism, I had to look at this completely different because I had to see kind of how does he adapt to Halloween. Now, my parents' business where Brenda actually works at,
Hmm.
years and years ago, they would have like a haunted house, and
Yeah.
they went really out
Hmm.
there because my mom was able they were able to control it.
Yeah.
But of course, my kids weren't born then. That was when we were growing up. I mean, my parents have
Mhm.
had the business for 35 some years. So that was when we were growing up. So, but I do think they had one, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, and
Yeah,
Neil was
about
not
3 years
happy about.
ago. Mm-mm.
Okay, he was not happy about the haunted because he came home and told me, "What are they doing?" And um, he's okay with dressing up. He doesn't want to do any of the scary stuff. He actually prefers to be the same thing every year. He wants to be a cop.
Okay.
It's more of a because he doesn't want a mask over his face.
Sure.
He doesn't want any of that stuff. So I have to be real careful with him. Where how do we do it? Where do we go? Now that other son of mine has the complete opposite personality. He'll jump right in. He don't care.
Mhm.
But so I have to kind of treat him separately a lot of the times. Um, but they haven't had we don't celebrate it like we
Okay.
don't celebrate it like that. I
Now,
can be
now
honest with that.
you told me a story where you kind of got ambushed with some Halloween stuff recently when you took the kids for their piano lesson. Can you share
Oh,
more
yes,
about?
I did tell you. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, yes.
what happened with that one?
So
Poor Neo.
the boys have piano lessons. It is actually out of a lady's home, and they have their business attached to it. And
Hmm.
so of course it was completely decked out, and Neil was not feeling that either. It was stuff everywhere. She has pumpkins and bats and I mean just everything. So he was kind of you can just tell his mood was like, what is going on? And
Mm.
so it was time for us to leave. And he goes into the bathroom. When he goes into the bathroom, he left the door partially open. I said, "Buddy, you can't leave the door open. People are coming in because there's other students coming in now. So what are you doing?" And so
Hmm.
he still, you can just tell there was almost like this fear on there. And I didn't go all the way in the bathroom.
Okay.
I kind of went. It was the door was cracked open enough where you can see in, but I didn't go in. And
Okay.
I was like, "Buddy, hey, what's going on? You have to close the door. Remember privacy." And I know he knows this, so I'm like, "What is he doing?" So Isaiah pulls me to the side. Mom, there's a skeleton on the shower. I said, what? He said, there's a skeleton. I said, what do you mean? Mom, not a real skeleton, but it's a skeleton on the shower and Neil is scared and there's bats on the mirror. He doesn't.
Oh
I said, oh my
wow.
gosh. So that freaked him out. And there was a orange skeleton hanging because the bathroom is like it's got a toilet, sink, and a shower. And
Hmm.
there's a skeleton hanging from the shower curtain. And then there's bats
Wow.
on the mirror, and he wasn't having it. So he hurried up and did his business. He threw the water on his hands, and he was out of there. So he was out of there. So I knew then I was like, okay, we're gonna do a real low key Halloween this year because he
Yeah, buddy.
wasn't even feeling that. So it was funny, but it wasn't. But he was not feeling the skeleton looking at him while he was
Yeah,
in the
trying
bathroom.
to have some privacy, right?
Yes. And he didn't want the door closed. Like, I think he was like, okay, if I got enough, I can use it and get out real quick. I think that's what he
Yeah.
was thinking. Um, so
Wow.
I kind of knew this year. I said, oh no, we're gonna and he actually has they have a recital, and I told him, I said, we won't be participating because
Mhm. Is it
they
at
gave us a
your house?
list. It was not at her house. It was actually going to be at one of the schools, but
Mhm.
she gave me the lineup of like the music, and they were going to be dressed in costumes. And I said,
Okay.
hey, this is not going to work. I don't know what kind of costumes you're going to come in. This may set him back. He may have a meltdown. So we just opted out this year to not do that.
Okay. Okay. Well, and we know, listeners, that there are some of you who have um, kids who have the superpower, but they also have siblings
Yes.
who you plan to take trick or treating. And so um, we've been doing a little bit of research and we found a great site, lexingtonservices.com, that have some really good strategies for taking your super kid trick or treating if you decide you want to do that with that kid's siblings or some friends. And we also have some strategies that we threw in from our own wisdom and good sense. So we're
Hmm.
going to share some of those. So Mia, you want to start us out?
Yes, let me see. Let's see. We have one that says plan ahead, explain the day and activities, sights, sounds they are likely to see several days in advance. This is very true. I have to plan out everything ahead for Neo.
Mm,
So, exactly. Let's use the example for the recital. By the teacher not really knowing what it was going to look like, I
mm-hmm,
didn't want to put him in that environment. If she could have told me, hey, we're going to sing these type of songs, these
mm-hmm.
costumes are coming, it would have been cool, but she couldn't tell me that. So that is a very good point to have planning ahead, because that kind of just soothes them, gets them ready for it, to know what's going to happen and what it's going to look like and all those type of things. The
Sure.
next one was allow them to select and make their own costume. That is very true too. Neo does not prefer any of your scary Jason, Michael Meyer mask,
Yeah.
any of those. He don't want a mask on his face, period. And he Brenda, you may have made it, or someone got him. It was a police one, and he really likes
We did
family.
find one at the community center, and
Yes.
actually he picked it.
He picked, yes,
Yeah.
because he's a big fan of listeners, the old school Family Matters. He loves
Mm-hmm.
Carl from Family Matters,
Okay.
so that's where that came from. So yes, if you allow them to pick their own costume,
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely the best deal. Because like I said, some kids may not want a mask on their face.
Sure.
Do a full dress rehearsal, walking them through the planned route a couple times in advance. This is very true of the big day, so they know exactly what to expect. That is very true also. I think when my parents had their Halloween gather or parties at the community center, we
Mm-hmm.
kind of told him what to expect
Yeah.
for that day, what it was going to look like, who were you kind of how many people were coming, or hey buddy, it's going to be kind of full, it's going to be a lot of people
Yeah.
here, all those type of things, and kind of have him walk through where, because he'll ask me and Brenda, where are they coming, how long are they staying, are they going,
Yeah.
and so we'll shoot her and I both, okay, they're going to come over here, they're going to stand here,
Mhm.
and that gets them comfortable so that they won't have a meltdown.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Have some fun activities ready at home
Yeah.
that you prepare with your super kid. So if your super kid becomes so overwhelmed and needs to call it a night, they won't feel disappointed or left out.
Mhm.
Monitor his or her anxiety level. This is very true, and be ready to leave. Have a plan for your other kids to continue having fun, trick or treating with a trusted family member. That is very true. I
Yeah.
have to always remind my Stefan and I have to remind ourselves, okay, Isaiah doesn't have the same issues as him, and so we don't want him left out. And
Mhm.
I know the community center has been the same thing. Neil has went into my parents' office, and Isaiah
Mhm.
has went over. Isaiah has
Yeah,
went
like
everywhere
this
and did what
all
he
over
needed,
the place. Right.
and
Right.
so we don't stop that.
I know
And
that you monitor his levels of anxiety all the
yes,
time. So
yes,
yeah, it's a good idea if somebody has a kid who needs to just like, okay, I tried this trick or treating, I'm out.
yes. I'm out. I'm out. This is not. And I know for him, have even at home, he's kind of okay. I did it. I'm done. He doesn't really need something at home. Like
Okay.
he doesn't need to have that. Um, so he's okay with just I did my part. Now you okay? Now can I go back to my life? Can I go back to my life now? I did what y'all asked me to do. Now leave me alone.
So you might
So
have some activities, for your kid at home. One of the things that they say kids really like, and I don't know if Neil likes this or not, but slime. To-
Now Isaiah does. Neo does
okay.
not, because Neo don't want his hands messy.
Okay. So
But your other
it's
but your
different.
other kid of autistic, they may like it. So try
Yeah.
it. Yes,
We like
most
some fun.
definitely.
I mean, I remember we used to like do pumpkin carving and roasting pumpkin seeds
Mhm.
at home.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
something that they could do at home.
Yes.
Do you think it would even help if, the super kid at home maybe gets to pick the candy that he gives out to the trick or treaters just so they
Yes.
might have a
I
little more?
Nehemiah would actually like that job better. He would
Yeah.
like to do that. Hand out the He would like to do that.
Yeah.
That would be good for him. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so, something else that we thought might be good is if the super kid, and I could totally see Neo doing this, handing out the candy and having a little saying that he says to the people like,
Yes.
"Hey, be
Yes.
careful out there," or "Have fun out there," or "Happy
Yes.
Halloween."
Yes.
I
He
could
would
totally
love
see
that.
him doing that. Yeah, I
Yes.
could totally
Yes.
see that.
Yes.
So now, yeah, because those are some things like if your super kid doesn't want to be bothered with any of that stuff, on Halloween. Does Neo have like a place where he likes to kind of retreat to at your house, especially when there's a lot
Yes.
of commotion going on?
Yeah, downstairs, in one of it was actually the kids' playroom, but he has
Mhm.
designated he goes in there and that is his space. When he's had too much or he doesn't really want to be bothered, see you guys later. I'm going downstairs. um, he has drumsticks in there. He uses
Okay,
drumsticks. He has a place where he can kind of retreat to kind of get to himself. And then he'll come back up and talk to you, but he needs time for himself.
gotcha. So
Hmm.
again, we're coming down to our last 5 minutes, but
Oh my
so,
goodness!
so
Oh my
quickly.
goodness!
But I wanted to ask you about, okay, because there's no such thing as Halloween without candy.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
Oh my gosh! Yes.
how much is too much? How do you regulate the candy?
So my boys have never been big candy eaters.
I noticed that.
I never started that because I wasn't a big candy eater. I can remember on my hands what candy we were allowed to eat.
Mhm.
And so by me not being a candy eater, um, I didn't pass that on.
Mhm.
Stefan had a different experience. His brother got choked on a now later when they were
Oh,
like 7 or 8. So Stefan's whole deal was no candy because he said his brother, I mean, he said it was a very bad experience.
yeah.
So we kind of were not big candy people. I can, Nehemiah likes Reese cups now.
Mhm.
They'll do suckers,
Okay.
and they'll do, that's not really candy. I don't count as candy. They like peppermints, but
Okay.
that's about it. They don't do a lot of the other candy just because we haven't really introduced it to them. They have tried it and they didn't really like it.
Hmm.
Um, my favorite candy right now and has always been a Snickers.
Okay.
So we're not really big candy eaters
Okay.
at all.
Okay. So now I guess our advice, would be you got to treat each kid individually and
Yes.
really, you don't have to go over the top like my dad did, like regulating it out. But if you do take your kids trick or treating, you should probably have a plan in advance about how they're going to
Yes.
eat that candy and when they're going to eat that candy. And if they're kids like we were kids, we would still sneak it anyway.
Well, and even for autistic kids, a lot of them, their palates, they like the sugar.
Yeah.
So they definitely need to manage. Although my kid isn't, I know a lot, they like that sugar and you're right. They'll be sneaking in and they'll have it in their room and you're like,
Mhm.
they're on. So because they like it, you
Yeah.
need to have that plan and set like, okay, you're going to go get 4 pieces a day, buddy. You're going to get,
Yeah.
5 the next day. So you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that.
Because we know they tend to eat what feels good to them and
Correct.
what goes down easy.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
and
Yes.
it
Yes.
may
Yes.
not always be what we think they should be eating. So
That is very
we'll,
true.
we'll talk about some strategies, to make sure that they get a balanced nutrition as well. Uh,
Yes, that's very true.
so again, in upcoming episodes, we want to hear from you. What are some of the ways that you celebrate not only Halloween but holidays with your kids? And in
Yes.
some upcoming episodes, I'm sure Mia's going to have a lot of stories about how they handle the whole holiday season because it starts with Halloween and then it goes right into Thanksgiving and into
Oh,
Christmas
yes.
Talk
Oh,
about
yes.
overstimulation.
Oh my goodness.
Holy cow.
Woo! Woo! Yes, 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 yes.
So we hope you've taken some tips to make sure that your Halloween is safe and, I guess, happy and not too scary
Yes.
for all of your kids. And hopefully, it's not a situation where you're going to stress out, because one of the things we want
Yeah.
to always do is provide you with some stress free
Yes.
strategies as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So be sure to tune in next time, and we will have another riveting topic to discuss with you. And we want to hear your thoughts as well. So, Mia, you want to close us out?
Yes. You've been listening to the Superpower Radio Show with your host, Mia Dawson.
And Brenda Major.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Or actually, you'll hear us next time.
All right. Take care.
Bye.